I've helped people pivot into cybersecurity even during the mass tech layoffs. In this video, I'm going to show you the real truth about what the cybersecurity job market is going to be like in 2026. What's growing, what's changing, and how to actually get in. Because right now, too many people are chasing cybersecurity jobs that don't even exist. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why getting into cybersecurity is a good idea in 2026. Hi, my name's AJ. I've been in cybersecurity for the last 10 years. And on this channel, I teach all things cybersecurity for beginners. So let's get into it. First of all, then, why does cybersecurity keep growing, and why do I think it's going to grow beyond 2026? Well, we're always seeing the new advancements of new technology, especially recently. Everybody is now talking about AI. They want to either integrate AI into certain parts of their businesses, or they want to even integrate AI into certain parts of their daily lives to be more efficient. But what these actually bring, these type of technologies, they bring new attack surfaces. So ultimately what this means is that there's new ways for attackers to target companies and target people through these new technology advancements. So if a company integrates a new AI chatbot, are they securing it correctly? I'm sure there's many businesses out there that are not. It goes the same for cloud, crypto, and even IoT and Internet of Things devices. With all these new technology advancements, there's always a new attack surfaces that will allow attackers to actually get into a company and actually compromise a company network and actually exfiltrate data and actually achieve the objectives of the attacker. And what this is really good for when it comes to cybersecurity is that there's always something new to learn and there's always something new to secure, which means that there's always going to be need for new cybersecurity professionals to make sure that these attack surfaces have actually been covered. And as every new technology gets onboarded to a company, there's likelihood that they're going to set it up incorrectly. And then us as cybersecurity professionals can be the people on hand who know then how to secure, let's say, an AI-based tool or a cloud infrastructure, for example. And if you have a look, there's actually 4.8 million cybersecurity jobs which are actually unfilled. Now, I know there's a lot of talk out there by they're not allowing people to take these jobs or get these jobs because they haven't got experience. Well, I'm going to talk more about how you can get that experience shortly. But one final thing is cybersecurity is no longer optional. It's core to every business function. Long of the days when companies would just put cybersecurity and computer security on the kind of back burner. It's now a core business function, and nearly every team inside of a company will need to be aware of cybersecurity. But not only that, there will be a core business cybersecurity team who works inside the company, or at least there's a managed security service company who will be working on behalf of that company to make sure that that company is actually secured. And this transcends across tech. So you'll see medical companies, you'll see insurance companies. It's not just these tech companies that we know of, like your Google, your Apple, that would have security teams. These security teams go way across different industries, and that's why I think it's going to continue to keep growing. We mentioned there is an AI effect that is coming into cybersecurity. And do we see it as a threat to cybersecurity jobs or more of an opportunity? So we've actually seen Amazon have announced 14,000 job cuts as they're continuing to push AI, and even the Financial Times mentions that AI will lead 1 in 4 big UK businesses to cut staff in, as research shows. Well, now, this is likely to come to fruition, and you can see that these companies are making cuts. But I think what is going to happen is that they're going to start to introduce these AI-based tools, but they're not going to know how to secure them. So there is a threat to maybe certain jobs. But in cybersecurity, I actually think there's more of an opportunity, and the opportunity is for you to actually understand how to secure these jobs. You could be an AI cybersecurity consultant. You go into a company and you assess the tools that they're integrating into the network to make sure that those tools are actually secure. If you are somebody that wants to start to think about AI cybersecurity and how to secure these AI-based tools, the Micro Attack framework has this Atlas framework, which is really, really good. And what it details is the steps that an attacker will take when they're trying to compromise one of these machine learning and LLM and AI-based tools. So these are the steps that an attacker will take, and then within these steps are the actual techniques that they will attempt to actually execute to be successful in that specific step. So they've actually added this here now where they could show him what is feasible, what has been demonstrated by actually red team, and what has actually been realized by an actual threat actor in real world incidents. So we are seeing real world threat actors target AI-based tools, target these LLM tools, and now we as defenders need to be able to defend those. So you can see here things such as poisoning training data. So we can go in here, and this is going to give a summary of exactly what that technique is and what the adversary is actually trying to do. So they're trying to poison the data used by an AI model so that then it allows the adversary to actually put vulnerabilities in the trained data so that the data that it actually returns to the user would actually be incorrect. And what you can see here then is actually case studies of where this has happened. And this shows here actual mitigation techniques. So these are the kind of things that you want to start to understand so you can talk about them in interviews. You not only understand the technique, you understand some real world examples, you also understand how to mitigate these as well. The point 3 then, and something else that I think is going to continue into 2026 as it comes to cybersecurity, is actually the money and stability. So we've seen that there's many kind of entry level. I know entry level is a bad term in cybersecurity, and it gives a lot of people anxiety when you say entry level because they still ask for experience. But there are kind of more your entry level SOC analyst, junior analyst roles that do provide salaries of around $75,000 to $90,000. And you can get more mid-level roles going to 110 to 140, more senior 180k plus. So the salaries are definitely there. And if you look at job descriptions, you can see this is the case. And like I said, I'm going to show you shortly how to get experience for, say, some of these more cybersecurity analyst style roles. But there is stability there. Even it was clear during the 2024 layoffs, the cybersecurity roles did in fact mostly stay intact. There were some layoffs in cybersecurity teams, but usually companies, like I said, it's core to their business now. Cybersecurity is going to cost them more in getting breached and losing personal data than it is to kind of lay off a cybersecurity professional who ultimately is there to protect them and actually prevent this. So I think the stability and the money in behind cybersecurity is not only going to stay the same, I think is actually going to look to increase over the next few years as more and more companies are going to realize that they need these cybersecurity professionals and these cybersecurity teams to ensure that they not only stay secure, because if a company gets breached, often the biggest impact to them is on their brand and how the customers trust them after that breach. So I think it's often actually worth the money to spend on cybersecurity professionals to ensure that you don't lose that brand recognition after a particular breach. The one thing I do think is going to stay the same is that beginners will continue to find it difficult to break in, but this doesn't mean that you can't get a job role. Things have just changed. What I've noticed now is that just having a degree, just having a certification isn't enough, because there's many people out there who also have these things that you now need to try and stand out more. So it's going to get more difficult, but I don't think it's going to be impossible. And I actually think it's a good thing that it's going to become more difficult, because the increase in competition is only going to make it more interesting. And also the fact that a lot of the lower level roles might get automated, and maybe level 1 and level 2 analyst roles might get automated through the introduction of AI. But to be honest, those level 1 and level 2 roles were actually not that interesting. The day-to-day work wasn't that interesting. So I actually think the job roles that you're going to be going into as a beginner are actually going to be a lot more interesting. But it has got more difficult. When I started 10 years ago, it was slightly easier. You only needed a degree and maybe some certifications. But now, like I'm going to show you shortly, you're going to need a little bit more than that, which I'm going to explain. And I know there's this big word, every job is asking for experience. Even entry-level roles, they're all asking for 1 to 2 years worth of experience. But I've actually worked with students and they've had no previous background. Some of them didn't even have degrees in cybersecurity. One of them was a mechanical engineer, and she landed the role of an information security analyst without any previous experience. So it is definitely possible. But like I mentioned just then, and I mentioned to Georgina as well, it is just going to take a little bit longer and it will be more competitive, but it is possible to stand out. And the way that you can stand out, and how I see the right way of learning now, is a combination of certifications and home projects. If you're already doing a degree, then I don't think it's a bad thing. Degrees can give you structured learning. The only thing I find that they are really expensive now, and often what they do teach can be slightly outdated. But don't worry, if you've got a degree or you're working towards one, continue to work towards it, but also do what I'm about to show you now as well. And like I said, many other people out there are going to get these degrees, and there are job applications that are interested in you having a degree. But to be honest, a lot of the hiring managers that I've spoken to don't really care care anymore about the degree. So maybe we're seeing the tide change. But like I said, continue with it, but just do this as well. And how I see the right way of learning now is to pick certifications towards the jobs that you're going for. Now, for beginners, I recommend going in as a cybersecurity analyst, a SOC analyst, and a threat detection analyst. It's got many different names, and that's the more kind of well-known blue team role. And I would say that role is more tailored to your more kind of beginner level. Now, it's not completely beginner because there are things that you need to learn, which these certifications will teach you and these home projects will teach you. And this is where you can actually get the experience that companies are looking for. And these are the kind of things that I've used with the students that I've worked with, and it's allowed them to land jobs without any previous experience. So the one thing you want to do, start looking at certifications that companies are actually asking for. So your CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, well-known certifications, you'll see them all over job descriptions. Now you'll also see Microsoft, and this one, Microsoft Security Operations Analyst. So Azure have their own security appliances, security tooling, Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Sentinel. A lot more companies are now looking to use Azure and its security tooling. So this is the reason why companies are asking for it. Usually when a company has certain certifications on their job description, it means that they're actually looking to use, or they do use, these certain technologies, and they want you to have experience. And the way that you can do that is to do certifications. Splunk is another one, SIEM, and a log platform that many companies are using. Getting certified with the Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect, for example, is a really good place to go. And of course, AWS. Many companies, if not most of the major companies, are using AWS. Some are using Azure and Google Cloud, for example, but AWS is still the number one. So getting familiar with how to actually set up an AWS platform, but also to secure it as well. And this cloud practitioner certification can really help with that. So then you want to do, once you're looking at your certifications, then home projects. I can't stress enough how important home projects are. These will help you get the interviews, but when you're in the interviews and you're trying to demonstrate experience, this is how you do it. This is exactly what you need to do. Setting up your own SIEM, so Security Information Event Management tool. So that's exactly what Splunk and Azure and Microsoft Sentinel is. It's a tool that all cybersecurity analysts are using. Set one up at home. I've got videos on this channel which show you exactly how to set up a SIEM of your choice, and I'll link it to the end of this video. Set up your own cloud platform. So actually set up AWS and create an instance in AWS, create a virtual machine. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just start basic, and then you can actually build out from there. And the video that I'm going to link at the end actually covers point 1 and point 2, and it's got an integration of kind of an AI aspect to it as well. And then you can set up your own home network, whether you want to do hardware based and actually set up a network at home, or you can just set up a network in AWS. This is kind of where the future is, but having experiences setting up your own network at home is also really good experience because it's going to help you understand networking that much better. But ultimately, what the certifications and the home projects need to do is relate to the job. And this is where the cybersecurity job market is going, and it's going to continue down this path into 2026 and beyond, because like I said, it's not as easy for a beginner to get in, but the reason it's not as easy is because things have changed. So once you know what has changed, it does become easier. So having your own roadmap, having your own certifications that you know that you need to get, and doing the home projects is the right way to learn, and will continue to be the right way to learn in 2026. So to conclude then, I think the reality of the job market in cybersecurity is that it's become more difficult, and in 2026 it will be more difficult for beginners to get in. But the reason for that is because things have changed, and if you do the home projects, if you do the actual certifications related to the job role, it can get much easier. The traditional pathway of just getting a certification and a degree doesn't work as well these days. So what I want to do now is say thank you for watching this video. If you want to go and watch that video where I show you how to set up your own SIEM and actually how to set up AWS and even integrate a actual AI solution into that as well, I recommend that you go and watch this video next. I want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you over there.